Hello guys, welcome back on Programming with Rana Waqas. So in my last video I told you about overloaded constructor and default constructor, and we also learned about destructors. So let's move toward the new topic today. Let's suppose I remove this stuff from here, and let's suppose I am going to make a new object here, product. Let's put P, and its ID is 12. Its name is, let's suppose, med1, and its price is, let's suppose, 35.5. Let's this, as you can see here, 12 med1 35.5, and destructor of this med1 product called. Now remove this message from here. I am just commenting it. So let's make another object, P1. As you know very well, here we are calling overloaded constructor that is written here in the brackets of class product, integer id, string name, and float p. Uh, this overloaded constructor has three parameters. So let's move on line number 66 and let's write here equal to p. Now just print p1 dot display. So let's check what will be happen. So as you can see here, the information p and p1 is same. ID is 12, name is mat1, and the price is 35.5. So what happened on this line? Basically on this line number 66, overloaded constructor is called, but that overloaded constructor copies the data of P variables into the P1 variables. So that's why you call this constructor as copy constructor. So the purpose of copy constructor is to copy the values of P into P1. So basically we didn't write any copy constructor within the brackets of class. So this copy constructor is default constructor. So we can call it default copy constructor. So the purpose of this default copy constructor is to copy the values of P and P1. So guys, this copy is called as shallow copy because this copy is done by compiler, and this copy constructor is implicitly called by compiler, so that's why we call it shallow copy. So I can write here shallow copy. So what is mean by deep copy? So let's suppose here we have one display information of this p object, integer type pointer. Let's suppose this ptr. So let's write here ptr is equal to null. Let's suppose the third value here is integer x percentage. Let's suppose the value is this. So you cannot write here static ptr is equal to text percentage. Before it, you have to write here ptr is equal to new int. Basically, this new int is allocating 4 bytes on RAM and giving the address to this pointer variable, and its data type is int. So that's why I write here new int. You are basically storing the value of this text percentage into these 4 bytes on RAM. So let's discuss about this shallow copy. If we don't write any copy constructor, then what will be happen? So I should explain this concept by using paint. Guys, let's suppose this is P. Let's suppose this is P1. Now you can see that in the class there are 4 different variables. One is for ID, second one is for name, and the third one is price, and the last one is pointer. So basically these 4 variables are here in P1 also. So you store ID, name and price, and in overloaded constructor you write here pointer is equal to new int. So this pointer will basically points a 4-byte memory on RAM right here, that the address of this memory, this is basically new int, so the memory, the rest of this new int is stored in this pointer. What if here the copy constructor is called and copying the values of p into p1? Value of id will go into this id, value of name will go into p1 dot name, and the price will go into respective price variable. And the value of pointer is basically the address of this 4 bytes. So this address will copy into this PTR. After that, this pointer will also point these 4 bytes. So let me write here delete PTR. Actually, you are allocating the memory in overloaded constructor and deallocating in your default constructor. So here, come on. Here, the address of these 4 bytes are stored in this PTR. So let's suppose that the structure of this P is called and which is destroying this value. So this value will be destroyed for both P and P1. And what if the constructor of this P1 is called and it is basically destroying this value? This value will be also destroyed for this p, and this is incorrect. We have to write copy over on copy constructor in which we should have to allocate the memory for this p1 and the value of this is the value which is stored here. Let's suppose 25 is stored here in this 4 bytes, so we should copy this 25 into this memory location. So in this case, when the destructor of P1 will be called, this memory will be destroyed. This memory will not be destroyed for this P. So let's move on code block and write our own copy constructor. So basically this is a constructor, so that's why its name will be same as class name. So basically you are passing the object which is called as P, and you should have to write here constant product ampersand, let's suppose P. So basically, this is the reason that why you will not write here product P, because if you will write here product P, this is an object, and this object will catch the value of this object, and copy constructor will call also here, and copy constructor will be recursively called at each call of this copy constructor. So just write here ampersand. By using this ampersand, you are basically making a reference object. You are not making a object, and here the constructor will not, any constructor will not call. So just write here this arrow id is equal to p dot id, and this, so this is not id, this is product id. So product id, so this is also product id. Right here this arrow name is equal to p dot name, and this arrow price is equal to p dot price, and here should be this arrow ptr is equal to new int. So basically at line number 31 you are doing this, you are allocating 4 bytes for this pointer of p1. So just write here, and now you want to store the value of this pointer into these 4 bytes. So just write here this arrow ptr, and use, you should use here static to store the value at this address which is stored in this pointer, and you should write here static p dot ptr. So now this is done, so I can write here cout copy constructor so that you can see that this constructor is called by the compiler. You have to write here let's suppose 5, because now this is a text percentage. So you can see here, this is a copy constructor for this object P1. So I was talking that whenever you use pointers in your class, then you have to implement your own copy constructor. And now this copy constructor, due to this copy constructor, we are basically using deep copy. So this is called deep copy. Before pointer, we were calling it shallow copy. Now this is a deep copy if you are using pointers. So keeping in your mind that whenever you allocate dynamic memory, so you have to destroy the memory, you have to free the memory, you have to delete the memory in default structure. So now this is fine. I hope you understood the concept of copy constructor, shallow copy and deep copy. When the shallow copy is done, when the deep copy is done by the compiler, you can call copy constructor like this. You can pass it in brackets as an argument, so run it, you will see the same output. This is basically the same. Viewers, don't forget to subscribe my channel, and if you are understanding my tutorials, then please like my videos and share it on your timeline.